So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is... wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast. I am your co-host, Phil Smith, aka Phil the Filipino. And of course, joining me as always is your other co-host, Mr. Eric Almighty. And Eric, we are here at the end of the month. And what that means, at least what it's meant over the last few months, is we have our bonus episode, which is What Did I Miss? And we've had a blast doing this. We've had amazing guests, and we've had so much fun just hanging out with our friends. And this month is no different. If it wasn't going to get copyrighted, I probably would put in the Avengers music here, but YouTube will have none of that, and we're just too young of a page to afford any strikes, so we're not going to do that. So, Eric, I am super excited for, obviously, to talk about pop culture here in the month of March, but also to hang out with our guest here today.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I don't think we need the extra bells, the extra whistles. I think at its core, we have united the Avengers of podcasting, which is super exciting, and I think that in itself is going to drive the episode forward. Obviously, we have so much to look forward to, but this episode is all about looking back at the month of March. So for this edition of What Did I Miss, we brought on two very close friends of the podcast, and let's go ahead and introduce them. We've got Badr, we've got Trey. Badr, how's it going? Starting with you, are you ready to jump back into what happened in the last, 30 days or so?
Dude, I am so excited. Can I say that you guys have some of the best transformations from pre-show to on-show? You guys are like, oh, what's up, Badr? Yeah, I'm just chilling, bro. All right, y'all ready to start? Hey, it's Phil the Filipino and Eric. Yeah, you guys kill it with the energy. Yeah,
you can see that if you become a patron, just so you guys know, for those of you that are...
Yeah, no, I'm excited,
man. Cigarette in hand and everything, too.
Yeah, every time I come on, I'm always reminded how fucking good you guys are at doing this. Oh, by the way, is this? Am I allowed to curse? Is this? I should probably watch my mouth.
No,
okay,
it's a kid show, Badr.
yeah, totally. As much as a kid show as Demon Slayer is, awesome. We're in the same, same
level.
Good to know. No, I'm excited.
Hell yeah! And Trey, I know we've had Badr on a few times, but Trey, we've been trying to collab for the longest time. So, are you ready, finally, to get on here and show us what you got?
Bro, I'm so ready. I've been thinking about this since the last time we did the Fallout Spotlight. And speaking of Fallout shows about to come out, still rocking Fallout. But
right.
Yeah, I'm super hype. I know I mainly do a lot of live streams on Whatnot and selling platforms, so coming back to the podcast game, this is a whole nother ball game. I mean, you can see the set, like the background sets. I'm literally in my living room. My kitchen's like right there, so it's dope. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because, Trey, like, you and me did an episode, and then, like, Badr comes on typically with Phil. This is the first time we've all just kind of combined and conjoined for an
hopefully
episode.
Hopefully the cameras are working. We can all fusion real quick.
yeah, we can make that work. It'll be in the wrong directions.
I love it.
It'll be tough, but, Phil, I think we're in for a hell of a time.
Yeah, like you said, I didn't even think about that. Like, this is the first time the four of us, I mean, obviously we see each other at the JPU and conventions and all that, but, like, I think, Badr, the last time you were on was when we had that very long discussion about Ted Lasso.
Man. You mean that 4-hour college dissertation about Ted Lasso?
Yeah, that was a good time, and here we are again. Like I said, this episode is so much fun, and I'm glad to have you all on. So, for those of you brand new listeners that are checking out this episode, you picked a really fun episode to check out for the first time, but also want to welcome in returning listeners. Thank you so much for all the support here in the month of March and beyond. And April is going to be no different. We have a whole lot of really fun stuff planned for you. Eric is going to watch Real Steel to give you guys a little bit of
a love that movie.
Of a spoiler.
I remember watching that movie in theater, and my theater was jumping. That shit was hype.
I'm telling you, Eric.
God, Eric. I know this feels like a trap. I didn't want to be a part of this. Real Steel fans.
What if I just share screen and we're just watching Real Steel for the next hour and a half? I just put Real Steel on.
I'll go pop some popcorn right now.
Bro, a little behind the
man.
scenes. I was texting Phil and I was like, all right, I don't know who the next guest is going to be, but we all have to collab. We're going to have like a real steel button and you're just going to give a sign like, go. And then we're all just going to rip the shirts open,
Like
real
real
steel,
steel
Hugh
t-shirts.
Jackman, music and all. It would have been dope.
So if Eric doesn't like that movie, I'll be truly heartbroken. But the month of April is also going to hold a lot more content, and we're super excited to bring it to you. But this episode, guys, if you haven't picked up on it already, everybody has chosen a pop culture story from the month of March that we will all discuss with each other. And then at the very end, we'll play a game. I put one game together, and we'll just have a good time. So, Eric, in What Did I Miss fashion, if you wanted to let our guests know one of the most important parts of What Did I Miss is coming up here right now as we decide the order in which we deliver these stories here this evening.
Yes. It's a very important step. Yes. Could we all just, like adults, decide who's going to go first? Sure, but that wouldn't be fun. So we have a wheel. And surprisingly, we have an entire setup here of instructions to said wheel because it becomes a challenge. So you are going to see the wheel here. And Phil is setting it all up. So you'd think it'd be simple, but here we are with the instructions. We are going to count down from 3, 2, 1. And on 1, after 1, you're going to then say spin that wheel. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and then spin that wheel. Yes.
I love it.
Have I repeated the instructions twice? I have. Are we still going to mess up? We are. But that's the fun of the wheel. So are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
So down.
That's what I love to hear. All right, we're going to count down, and we're going to do it. 3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Spin that wheel.
Boo-doo.
That was
doo-doo.
okay.
No.
Some extra bells and whistles. That wasn't too bad.
And
Come on, Green.
Oh,
Take it away, Trey.
Let's go.
oh God, that's
was
just
so
as
nervous.
loud
I
as
thought
it
I was
was
gonna
last
Oh, I
time.
totally forgot to turn off the volume. That was
That's okay.
I thought I
It's
was going to
funny.
get last. I was so nervous.
It's
like,
hilarious
oh, they're gonna
every
bury
time,
me.
Phil.
I totally forget every time. I also forgot to mention, if you've made it this far in, this is an episode, obviously, while it is on audio, this is an episode we very much suggest that you guys watch on our YouTube page, just because of the games and also the wheel. Obviously, mostly the wheel.
Yeah, worth the
but
wheel
we
alone.
definitely suggest that you watch this over on our YouTube page. But however you decide to take it in, we appreciate it. Trey, what story did you come across from March of 2024 that you'd like to share?
So for me, I'm just in the same boat as Phil and Eric. I don't know if Badr, you're kind of in that same boat as us, but we're diehard wrestling fans. AEW is in our blood, especially being here from Jacksonville. So I have to give the biggest shout out to Sting for his retirement. He did 30 plus years in the business. So my question is, how excited are you for Darby Allin and like what is his projection? Because I don't know where he's gonna go. But what's your like most iconic wrestling moments, just to kind of keep it like a little bit broad? Because it is really cool to see Sting just put in 30 years of work, putting his body on the line. I mean, hell, I think it was like, 4 weeks ago, he was still doing like coffin drops through tables at 64 years old, which is insane. I can barely like get upstairs with my knees and I'm 27. So yeah, just want to spotlight wrestling and what your guys' thoughts on Sting's retirement.
Yeah, Badr, we haven't necessarily, I don't think we've talked too much about wrestling, but like I don't think you can really go through your life in any form of pop culture without really crossing Sting and knowing who he is and, you know, and what he's done. So what is your kind of just like reflection on him and his career and maybe any early memories you have of him?
Sting might be like one of, I don't know, 10 names in wrestling I can confidently say, like, you know, I watched as a kid. Wrestling for me was something that my uncle Sean had introduced us to when we were really young. And I'll never forget, like, you know, he's from Jersey, so he used to come down and, like, you know, spend, you know, a week with us, and we'd watch wrestling with him. And it's not something that, like, my dad was into, but when Sean was in town, we'd watch wrestling, like, well into the night, and it felt like, you know, something we weren't supposed to do, but it was Uncle Sean, so it was, like, you know, a plus. And I'll never forget how scared my baby brother at the time, my baby brothers were. Anytime they would do like the cage matches, like they would literally be hiding underneath the bed, you know, when Sting would come out, or Undertaker, you know, like that was my kind of like era of wrestling, you know, like the suck it, you know, doing that in class and not trying to get in trouble. So that's crazy to hear that Sting is just now retiring. This dude is like eligible for a 401k, a military retirement, a 21-gun salute, and all that. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, Trey, you're right. This man is out here putting his body on the line still, and I get a paper cut, and I'm in the hospital. So, no, that's pretty crazy to hear.
Yeah, and at one point, to kind of give you a little bit of an update, Badr, so Sting had gone to, he was gone for a long time, returned to WWE, well, not returned, showed up in WWE, what was that, 2012, guys?
God,
I think
so
like
long ago.
2014-ish.
Something like that. He returned, had a great, he had an okay run, I won't say great. He got injured, and the WWE wouldn't clear him to wrestle because they didn't want him to get hurt under their name. They part ways, and then a couple of years ago, he returns to AEW. And Eric, we were actually at that show. Shout out to our friend Jordan, who was also with us. We were at that show where he returned to Daly's place, and the crowd, that was when the COVID crowd, so everybody was separated, but it was loud, and so it's crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that shit was like all over my timeline. You know, to Trey's point, like when AEW was doing those, like strictly doing those matches here in Jax because of COVID and they couldn't travel, like there was a huge amount of pride that I had, even though like I've been disconnected from wrestling for a long time. There is a huge amount of pride knowing like, no, that's the hometown team right there. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then he returned, and then he, was doing great, and which is great. He hasn't gotten hurt or anything like that, and then finally had an amazing retirement match a couple weeks ago. So it was great. So Eric, what about you? One of my memories of Sting for sure is in WWF or WCW No Mercy. I would always pick him because he had the bat. And I like to cheat.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you got a little cheat, yeah.
Yeah, Sting was cool. If you like Sting, especially like when he obviously first started in WCW and he really got that moniker that he's known for now, like absolutely makes sense. I always look back on Sting as the possibilities, the potential of Sting. Like Sting's great, nothing to take away from his career, but I always think of that WCW run and the things that happened with the NWO and the way they kind of did him there. Then he comes to WWE and he loses at his first Mania and then he gets hurt, right? And then there's that gap. And even in AEW, he's kind of like sidekick of Darby Allin, right? The future, right? Darby Allin. So it's kind of like, I don't know. And him taking those bumps at that age, like I was just scared for the man. I was like, please retire. Please call it a day. He's done so much. His career is very accomplished. I don't know. I always just kind of see Sting in a different light because I always think about the what ifs. We never got that Taker-Sting match. Those are the type of things I think about when I think of Sting, which is unfortunate because, again, he's one of the biggest legends that wrestling has ever had.
True. If you guys
and
ever
a lot of
want
those
some,
things
like,
are out of sorry, Trey. I'm just going to say a lot of those things are out of his control, which is unfortunate too.
True.
WCW just completely folding, and then Vince McMahon, being Vince McMahon. But go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, after the WCW stuff, if you guys want some like classic Sting matches to where like, okay, he's still kind of old guy Sting. He's got the Crow moniker going on, but like not over the top comic book hero that he was in AEW. Go back and watch his TNA run.
Yeah, his TNA run.
Those
was
were
very good.
prime like wrestling matches. Him and you had Perk Angle back in the day.
Perk
AJ
Angle.
Styles. Bro, TNA slept on, bro. I love TNA.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
TNA is definitely being looked at. Back that era of TNA definitely now is being looked at very, very positively. Where in the moment we definitely took it for granted, but also it wasn't available. Like I couldn't turn on the USA Network as much, and it was on like Spike TV, which I never watched. So but shout out to Sting. As far as Darby Allin, I'm not the biggest Darby Allin fan.
What? Why?
I don't know. I've never. I don't know. I'm not the. I've never really like gravitated to him. And that can also be part of like the bias that I've heard. Just some stories about him online and things of that nature. But when we talk about wrestling specifically, I'm not the biggest fan of like his. I'm not the biggest fan of like. I don't think he's a deathmatch wrestler, but like that kind of like violent wrestling has never really appealed to me. Has it? What about you, Eric?
Yeah, no, same thing here. Darby Allin's cool. I don't know necessarily a pillar. I know that's where he's pretty much always put, and I think a lot of that had to do with Sting's backing, which I like that. It was a nice pairing. But yeah, Darby is. I like the coffin drop. That's about it.
True.
That's about it.
To give you an idea of who Darby Allin is, Badr, if you're not familiar, he was about to climb Everest and was telling people goodbye just in case he didn't come back from Everest. And then he broke his foot, so he is not. He's going to Everest next year. There's also a story about how he rubbed Buffalo Wild Wing hot sauce on his asshole, but we're not going to talk about that story.
Wild man.
I'm sure to tell him about the ladder match where he goes through glass and all these other things.
That's,
No, just
Buffalo Wild Wing
hot sauce in the
story.
booty hole. I love it.
That's a thing
That
too.
for sure. That for sure probably stung. You
That's
know
the
what
one
I'm
you
saying?
wanted
That's the sting
to
right
lead
there.
with. So, but no, shout out to Sting.
I do want to follow up with Trey's question, just a quick kind of rapid fire. Badr, is there any wrestling moment that sticks out to you? I know you mentioned, there's a couple wrestlers that come to mind that you can confidently speak to. Maybe one of them had a moment that just kind of, when somebody says wrestling, you think of immediately?
Man, I want to say it was an Undertaker cage match against, was it
Mick Foley, Mankind.
Yeah, Mick Foley. I think it might have been Mick Foley. Maybe I watched that live, or maybe it was just like a repeat at the time. But that
Throwing
is
a
like,
human being off of it will do that to you.
he killed him. Still like is burned in my memory. Like watching that, like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? It's like this is real. Like nothing was more real than that.
That's
Trey, what about you?
fantastic
That's
pull,
a good
man.
one.
Oh my God, there's so many of them. I mean, to stick with the Undertaker because he's just so classic. I think nobody even remembers the 2000. I think it was either 2007 or 2009 main event at Mania because Undertaker and HBK's match was just so iconic. It was like the 5th match in, and they normally do like an 8-match tier. I know now with WrestleMania they do like a whole 2-night thing, which go Team Cody, finish your story. Screw The Rock. I'm Team Cody.
Please
I want him to finish
it.
the story, but yeah, it has to be that Rock or The Rock. It has to be the Undertaker and HBK from either 2007 to 2009. Such an iconic match. I think I'm not a big like 5-star match kind of guy, but that's on like my Rushmore of like 5-star tier matches. What about y'all?
So I skipped a lot of 90s, early 2000s wrestling. So, because like my cousins had always circled it, but I didn't really get into it until John Cena. So, John Cena shows up, smacks Kurt Angle around. And from that point on, like I was hooked. So even though like the eventual, what we got, like the Super Cena years were a little rough, I've always been just a huge fan of him. And, and he stayed. Obviously there's stories of him burying younger talent and all that kind of stuff, and there's always politics when it comes to wrestling. But when it comes to like John Cena specifically, like he has always been my guy. So definitely that.
Perfect goat, by the way. Like he's such a goat. He's done so many Make-A-Wishes that it's like impossible to count how many like
between John Cena and
things he's done.
Batista. Speaking of The Rock, John Cena and Batista are like the actors The Rock thinks that he is.
Oh, 1,000%.
I always like to point that out. So
Yeah,
I
Phil
still love Black Adam. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so my moment is Eddie Guerrero winning the WWE title against Brock Lesnar. It's always that moment. I love that moment. I was a
Perfect.
big Eddie fan, seeing him win the title for the first time, getting to defend it at Mania before his untimely passing. So, like, all of that, really great. There's so many moments. Phil, I always think about the John Cena Royal Rumble return. That's
yeah,
definitely...
we were watching that at my house here. Yeah.
Phil rubbed
No,
that
was
in
great.
my face for so long. so long. So... Yeah, no,
That was
I
back
love that
before
you
the
brought that
internet
up.
spoiled
Right.
anything, so that was great.
Cena had some iconic matches, like him at No Mercy for ECW's first one, where everybody's yelling Cena sucks, and they literally do like a 5-minute thing of him trying to throw a shirt in the crowd, and it didn't matter who it landed to. They're grabbing the shirt and throwing it back in the ring and giving them the bird. It's just iconic,
great.
bro.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, cool. Well, it was great to reminisce again on Sting, but also wrestling in general. Thanks for that, Trey. All right, Eric,
You know the drill. The wheel is going to make its return.
let me mute the audio.
That'd be great. It's just, you might as well keep it. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Oop.
But there
Nope, it's
are
gone.
3 stories left. We're going to count down from 3. And in that same cadence, 3, 2, 1, spin that wheel. So let's go. We're going to go 3, 2, 1.
Spin
that wheel. That wasn't too bad. That was pretty good.
Solid.
I don't know why I keep going with the NFL draft theme song. I'm sorry.
This keeps happening, Eric, where our guests go first and when we go.
There we go.
As it
Come
should
on
be.
now.
We could have just decided that, but the wheel decides it.
That's true. It's up to fate. All right, Badr, what did you come across here for
Okay.
March 2024?
And I think this is a good pivot from Trey's topic in a way. I'll tie it here in a sec, but I want to highlight a news story that was shared that I've seen around March 22nd. So this is a Variety article. The headline reads: Warner Bros. Discovery to expand anime production in Japan. The genre is increasing reach and relevancy globally. So just to kind of summarize what that means, Warner Bros. Discovery is trying to really ramp up their anime offering. Warner Brothers, I'm just going to call it Warner Brothers instead of the whole Warner Brothers Discovery. I think we know what I'm trying to say. Warner Brothers, apparently, news to me, has and I guess not too surprising, but they have a Japanese anime studio, or I'm sorry, they have a local studio in Japan that's been producing that's been producing anime already. But they're planning to produce even more anime in the coming future. This particular studio has been operational since 2011. It's already delivered over 80 titles that span from anime, live action series, and movies. Some of those include like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Record of Ragnarok is a series that came out through the Warner Brothers Japanese studio, as well as Batman Ninja, the anime movie. So with them increasing anime production, and I think they're saying that they want to put out like 10 movies or series, or just 10 animes a year rather than like 5, the 5 to 10 that they're doing. And their goal is to try to reach like that 18 to 30-year-old audience, which they described in the article as incredibly elusive. So I think they want to bring their IPs, particularly the DC universe. The quote in the article from one of the representatives of Warner Brothers said that, we wanted to see if we could take these characters and reinvent them in the world of anime, but do it in the right way, not to make such a shameless, like, hey, here's, Batman as an anime. Like, they're trying to do it right by, like, really making it an anime. And I think the first offering that they're looking forward to putting out into the world is and this ties into Trey's topic about John Cena. I love them in Suicide Squad, and that is one particular anime that they're trying to push here in July. It's called Suicide Squad Isekai. Isekai. Thank you. I'm butchering that. Thank you so much. So for those that might not know, Isekai is a genre of manga that takes place in the world of Japanese fantasy. So think supernatural stuff, magic, and, stories associated with myths. So this Suicide Squad anime that is going to be debuting in Japan in July of this year is basically taking Suicide Squad and putting them into like this mythical kind of magical world. So that'll be the first kind of big offering underneath this new initiative. It is being produced by Warner Brothers Japan as well as WIT Studios, and that's the same Japanese studio behind amazing anime series like Attack on Titan and Spy Family as well. So Suicide Squad Isekai will be releasing in Japan in July as part of a larger initiative by Warner Brothers to really ramp up their anime offering and try to get in front of that 18 to 30-year-old audience using their existing characters and DC Universe properties. I think there's like 3 total trailers for this particular Suicide Squad anime that's coming out. It's going to be a series, not a movie. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I sent a link to Phil to share out with the rest of you, and I was curious if you guys had a chance to watch it. What did you think? I was pretty impressed by it. I think it really does a good job. Granted, I watched the trailer before really knowing what isekai is, that whole genre of it. But now that I know what that is, and that's actually a phrase and a categorization, I thought the trailer does a good job of blending those two worlds, where it's like Suicide Squad, but taking place with like magic and knights and medieval times. Like it I don't know. It felt really fresh. It felt really good, and it maintains like the qualities and aspects of Suicide Squad that make it Suicide Squad. And this, but you got like a cool like a production style or animation style to it. It's going to be obviously released in Japan, so it's going to be in Japanese. I thought the voice acting already sounded pretty good. Truthfully, it's something that I would definitely probably watch. What did you guys think about the trailer?
Yeah, Trey, let's throw it over to you first.
I thought it was amazing. Like, personally, I really liked the Batman Ninja. It was one of those ones that I didn't even hear anything coming out on it, and surprisingly enough, which is kind of dated, I saw it on Redbox, like walking past a Walgreens.
Oh wow.
Now,
Did
yeah,
you
right.
get the physical DVD?
I thought about it, but I was like, nah, I'll just buy it online. I don't want to be that old school.
If you got it at the right time, you could have kept that DVD forever.
That's what I'm saying. But the animation style was just really interesting, and then the storyline, it doesn't look like it's okay, we're just going to use this animation style and plug and play like a simple thing that we used in the past. Because the one thing about DC, their live action, I'm a big DC fan. Prior, if you're on the Patreon, you saw I showed off 2 of my DC keys. Their live action just really hasn't been hitting lately, but anything animated, they're always like almost 10s every time.
Yeah, the DC
so it's gonna be
animated
really interesting.
universe. Yeah, they're no slouches when it comes to their animated universe. It's like some of the strongest, like stuff they put out outside of like the comic books. So to see like them really emphasize and take an interest in doing anime and wanting to do it right and using like, studios that obviously have already major success in it, I think it's a good look. And I'm curious if this will, accomplish what they want to do, which is getting in front of like a younger generation.
Yeah, Eric, what do you think? Of course, as our resident anime expert, is this something you're going to check out? I know you have a very specific rotation. So in order to commit to something, it's got to interest you. So, what did you think of the Suicide Squad anime trailer?
Yeah, I think this is the type of anime that can absolutely, with the right amount of clips, the right amount of memeability, like it can be really big, right? And a lot of things like have to work for an anime between the story, the characters, the performances, all of those things kind of intertwined. I think there's potential here. For an isekai, you're essentially taking characters from one place into another in Japan, in Japanese manga, right? So whether that's a fantasy world, magical world, anything like that, I think that's a interesting premise. Will it work is a great question. I definitely am hesitant just because of the concept and the idea itself. But I mean, Badr, you mentioned it. DC has always nailed their animated routes. And I think that's something that's been a strong suit of theirs. Anime is a little bit of a different medium, but I think that they could achieve it. I definitely think it's absolutely possible. And, give me more Joker stuff. So if the Joker is good in it, I probably will check it out just because I'm a huge fan of that character. And seeing a unique iteration of that character, for some reason, just doesn't get old.
Yeah, there was something about that trailer hearing Joker call Harley Quinn pudding, or vice versa, in Japanese. I don't know. This show was like kind of cool. I was like, oh, this is pretty fresh. And it's the Suicide Squad team that we're familiar with, so they're banking on. Well, I don't know if they're banking on that. Well, I'm sure they are banking on it being pretty familiar, similar to the to the movie characters. So I think that's a smart approach. That it's like, oh, it's got fucking Shark King that looks adorable, right? As as an anime character, and Harley Quinn translates really well into anime. I mean, how many times I know I've seen Harley Quinn in anime statue form all over the place, and it usually sells out pretty well. So the characters I think lend themselves to the anime style really well. And, you've got our guy Peacemaker, Now, granted, it's not, being done by John Cena, but I was like, oh, that's a cool way to tie him in as well. Eric, real quick, I just had a question because, like I said, this is the first time maybe I think I have definitely heard of the phrase isekai, and I'm probably saying that wrong again.
Isekai.
Isekai, thank you.
Yeah.
Isekai. I think I've heard it before. But seeing it in context, I'm like, oh, it's clicking now. What's your favorite subgenre of anime? Do you have a favorite?
Oh man, that is tough. I don't know that I would say I have a favorite subgenre necessarily. What I will tell you though is that I am a sucker for romance animes. That's something that people do not know. Romance animes at their peak. I think in my top 5, Phil, I have at least 2. It's Fruits Baskets and Kaguya-sama, Love is War. And that's stuff people don't normally expect. I think when people hear anime...
I really enjoy.
I hate you. One of those things that I think people misunderstand about anime is everybody think it's your traditional shonen. So because they see Naruto and Dragon Ball and Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia, they just assume that is the only genre. So while I don't necessarily have a favorite, I would say that shoji romance type anime is like a guilty pleasure, is what I would say. And I end up finding a lot of just joy. Your slice of life is nice as well, but sometimes it can get a little too fan servicey. And that's the side of anime I don't find myself in very often. So that'd probably be mine. And Phil, you watch like 2 anime, so I don't think you can answer this question.
I've watched. You keep discrediting my because I don't like the anime that Eric likes anymore.
You did know what isekai was. I'll give you credit. I'm gonna give you credit.
Journey. I know what isekai is. But this is, I mean, if there's going to be anybody that attempts to do this that I would trust, it would be Warner Brothers. And if this list on my anime list is correct, Eric, Mob Psycho is a Warner Brothers anime. So that's one of our favorite of all time. So and this is the perfect time, like as far as Badr, you mentioned the 18 to 30 market. Adult animation is at an all-time high. I mean, we're talking about Invincible, we're talking about Vox Machina, Has Been Hotel. All these shows right now are at their peak. And the Harley Quinn show. We're talking about DC. They have one right there that is incredible. So I definitely trust them to do it. And you say John Cena's not involved, but as of right now, I could totally see them casting John Cena.
You know what? Doesn't John Cena speak like
I think
fluent?
He can absolutely do
he
it.
does.
Does he speak fluent like Mandarin? I believe Mandarin, right?
Yeah,
Something like that. Yeah, I could absolutely see him doing it.
They haven't announced an English dub yet, right? Not a cast.
No.
Not yet.
It could happen.
Wow, Eric, that's good
For a fan service,
yeah.
for a fan service, I'm hoping that they do the like 2018, 2019 John Cena meme of the Bing chilling, and they bring that back into there. It'd be fun. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be. I think it has a potential, and Suicide Squad is still very fresh in everybody's mind. Eric, I mean, or Badr, you mentioned, you always see Harley Quinn everywhere. Eric, we went to MegaCon one time and said, hey, let's count how many Harley Quinn cosplay we see, because she's still so in the very forefront of everybody, and Joker as well. So I think this has the possibility to be very successful. And again, as far as their animation, they don't miss very often, if ever. So I definitely trust them to pull this off for sure. But yeah, great story, Badr. Glad that we could talk about that. Eric, ready?
All right, I think we know the routine here. So this wheel is going to come up. And yes, are there only 2 of us left? Yes.
Turn the audio off every time.
I love the dedication. I love the dedication to the wheel. Even though there's like 2, and you guys can be like, Phil, you go.
Wait
It's
till
like,
there's
nah.
one.
Yeah, wait.
The
I was
wheel.
gonna say, I hope you guys don't think this is the last one, because that would make too much sense. So for
The
the
wheel
third time,
controls all. Yeah.
it controls all. I could get the
right.
real wheel too. I've got a real.
We
wheel
literally
just
left
as a
this. We
backup.
used this wheel the other day when Eric and I went to fund him. Whether or not he was going to spend like $300.
Oh yeah, when I bought one of those items,
it
it was specifically wheel driven. So
We
We
left it
live
to
by the
fate,
wheel, we
and,
die by the wheel.
Eric spent the
Damn
money.
right, yeah.
so.
Trey, that was a good.
that's
one.
how it works. It's fate. All right,
All right, Eric.
let's count it down. We're gonna go right into it. I think we know the drill. 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
One.
Spin.
Spin.
That. Wheel.
wheel.
Oh, so much fun.
I gotta keep doing it. I
love it.
Oh.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle.
All right, that's close.
Big Eric. Eric
Let's
the
go.
Almighty.
All right. Got Eric
All
next.
right.
All right, Eric, what we got?
I've got one hell of a story, guys. So I don't know if you guys saw the critically acclaimed Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, but in case you did, or
I've seen it. It's like
if
25
you thought
minutes.
about seeing it, yeah. Well, there's more. There's more to come. Not only has Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 been announced, but in addition to that, we can now expect the Pooniverse. What is the Pooniverse, you're asking? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's Pooniverse Monsters Assembled, which is bringing together Pooh and various other beloved children's characters gone bad. This is going to be characters like Tinkerbell, for example. I think another one was Peter Pan. Of course, you're going to get in Winnie the Pooh 2, you're going to get Tigger and some other classic characters. And they are going to team up into this Avengers-style assembly of just horror characters. Now, Phil, you are going to kick us off, because I think out of everyone here, you're the only person I know who has seen this movie. How does that news make you feel? Because there is just going to be more of this, it feels like, as IPs start to become available. We heard Mickey Mouse became available after so long, and we heard so many things drop the day that IP became available. So what are your thoughts on this news, and are you going to continue the journey into the Pootiverse?
I just wanted to hear you keep saying Pootiverse, honestly.
Right? That is such a crazy
Yes.
phrase
I
for
also
it.
want to
The
say
Pooniverse.
that Winnie the Pooh 2 currently has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I just want to put that out there.
No way.
That
It's
it currently has a, which is a turnaround from the 3% that the first one has. So that story was making rounds today as well. So I'm very glad that you brought this up. I'll say this as a disclaimer. I've only seen the kill count for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. So I only know about 25 to 30 minutes worth of information about this movie. I know that it was not reviewed very well as far as the first one. And like you said, Eric, we're going to see more and more of this when it comes to these characters becoming public domain. I think it's fun. I think there is a place for campy films, and I think we need to continue to watch them, support them. Are they ever going to be these major franchises? No, but just like we talk about all the time, Eric, promote silly and fun wrestling, promote silly and fun films. Am I going to continue to watch them? Maybe. I mean, they're a lot of fun. They're stupid, like the same reason you go see Madam Web. You don't expect it to be a good time. You don't expect to enjoy yourself for cinematic reasons. You just go to enjoy yourself. And I think these would make a really fun movie night with your friends, when you just want to watch a bad horror movie, roast it from beginning to end, and just have a good time. So I support silly, dumb films. That's why I love The Meg. That's why I love Fast and the Furious. And you know what? Keep them coming out. I love it.
Damn, I cannot believe that you were not getting it. It's currently sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Listen,
now, granted, it's 7. I mean, granted, it's like 7.
6 reviews.
Yeah, 6 reviews. But, strong out the gate.
That's crazy. Absolutely wild. Now, see, Phil will sit there and watch really bad movies. He mentioned Madam Web. He'll watch The Meg.
Flight.
He'll watch Velocipaster.
Okay, no,
These are all
Velocipaster was
tough.
Velocipaster is
time.
great.
It's kind of hard
I'm
to.
right there with you.
It's kind of tough. Trey, you sent me something, and all I saw at a glance was Punisher. Can you explain what happened there?
So I know it's definitely this isn't late to the party, but it kind of feels like a late to the party. Do You Poo is a comic book series. I couldn't tell you anything that's on the inside of the book because I've never read one, but I've sold maybe 40 different covers, and that's not even scratching the surface of how many different covers there are. So that list that I sent you is just some of them. That book came out in 2015 whenever the trademark, or I believe it's after 100 years it goes open to public domain or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the comic book community just ran with it. So anytime you go to a MegaCon or any convention, just ask any comic book collector, do you have any Pooh books? And it sounds so weird to say, but they've made a Tiggerverse, they made a Poohverse, Pigletverse,
This is a prime
Eeyoreverse.
example of
It's insane, bro.
we can't have anything nice. You know what I'm
No.
saying? When the internet gets a hold of some shit, it is a free-for-all.
They ran with it, and they still sell to this day. If anybody wants to go on eBay and hit sold listings and just type in "Do You Poo," there's metal covers, which is an actual comic book with a metal cover on it, that are limited to 5 in the world, and they go for $200 to $1,000 every time. It's absolute insanity. And then the Mickey one that just came out was Steamboat Willie, so the old school whistling on a tugboat Mickey Mouse. That one's public domain, so I'm surprised there hasn't been movies made yet, but any convention I go to, there's multiple of those books floating around. It's just insane that Do You Poo is a thing, and I love it and hate it at the same time because there's a Penny Hardaway Shaq collaboration of Do You Poo, and they made Tigger Shaq, that iconic poster. They have the Pooh Man, the Pooh Jump Man, where he's doing the jump man pose. It's insane, bro.
Yeah,
there is a Steamboat Willie horror game on Steam already. So.
I love it.
Yeah, it's already starting. Badr, I don't think you'll be checking out. I see one of these is the Poodalorian. So I don't think you're going to be checking that out.
Yep.
Yeah.
But are you going to check out the movies now that you know there's going to be a whole universe? Are you ready to make that jump?
I love me a good, bad, on purpose bad movie watching, but I won't ever pay for one. So if it's on TV or streaming, and it's on, and I happen to be in the room, I might go ahead and check it out. But I don't know if I would do it consciously of my own free will, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'm gonna seek it out. But I do think that it's pretty interesting that there's a second one, and that they're building out this. I guess I shouldn't be surprised they're building out a universe of horror Winnie the Pooh. I'm sure. I'm sure. Count on me in true Badr fashion. 10 years from now, when it's on like Winnie the Pooh movie 9. Then I'll be like, have you guys checked out this horror? The Winnie the Pooh movie is not too bad.
Y'all heard of this Fast and Furious franchise? Like,
But yeah, in like 10 years, like Badr has the box set in the background. Like, it's the Pooniverse box set.
Yeah,
And
this is why
Mandalorian.
I listen to the Wait For It podcast. That way I hopefully I'm not too late, but I don't know if I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon just yet.
Yeah, these are the key stories that we cover here on the show. What would you do without us? Phil, that was my story, the dumbest one I could find for the month.
Thank you for covering that. I appreciate
I do have to give a shout out to one of the cover creators. We work with him all the time. Marat Michaels. You can find him on like any social media if you want any Pooh covers. He's done probably about 100. So any Pooh people out there, get a Jim Cummings signature. He's at every single con.
Pooh.
Be amazing.
People.
And one last time, Phil, Pooniverse.
Pooniverse. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right.
We have
Eric.
one more story left. Before we get to that story, though,
Yes.
you're gonna have to spin the wheel. Let's jump
my
into
God.
it one last time. We're gonna just go straight into the
Principle,
countdown.
damn it.
It's the principle. We're gonna go 3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Spin.
That.
That.
Wheel.
Wheel. Who's it gonna be? Big money, big money, big money.
Big money.
Shit, I just lost everything. I just lost everything.
Yeah.
I should
I
have
have
bet
never
against Bill.
gonna financially recover from this.
House wins.
All right. So I have Do You Poo up on my screen. Let me close that out. So all right, this is some I kind of have like a combination because they all tie into one overall story that I wanted to discuss with y'all. As all 8 Spider-Man films are returning to theaters beginning next month. All 8 Spider-Man movies are returning to select movie theaters starting next month, part of a promotion that Sony Pictures is calling Spider Mondays, in which fans will be able to experience all of the legendary live-action Spider-Man films on the big screen again for the first time. The announcement includes dates for all the Spider-Man films, along with a special poster featuring a moment that should be familiar to movie fans. The Spider-Man movies will be available in select theaters, including AMC and Alamo Drafthouse. And also, Eric, earlier in the month, we found out that Interstellar will be returning to IMAX in, I believe, in
Great
November,
movie.
which I am super excited for. And I wanted to bring this up because we're seeing this a lot now. As we get farther away from some of these classic films, they are being re-released in theaters. Now, I think a lot of us know, that this is a direct response to Madam Web being a disaster. And they got to recoup some of those losses, obviously. And I'll be honest, I'll probably see 3 or 4 of these. I don't know that I'll see all of them. Eric, as you know, with us being, the Cinemark members, whatever that is called, you get credit for buying the tickets and going to the movies and just to keep our, our discount status and all that. So these are films that I enjoy, and they'll be easy for me to go check out, and I'll be able to watch some of them maybe for the first time with my daughter, who has only seen the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. What do you guys think about this trend? Do you like it? There are also 3 Disney films that released during the pandemic that have re-released in theaters, Turning Red, Luca, and one more
Soul.
that I'm forgetting. Soul.
Oh, wow,
They re-released those in the theaters. What do you guys think of this trend? Eric, I'll throw it to you first. First, are you going to go see any of these Spider-Man films again in theaters? Also, I didn't even mention The Phantom Menace, which we're going to go see in May. So they're re-releasing that in theaters. So I'll throw it to you first, Eric. You going to see any of these Spider-Man films? And do you like this trend of being able to re-experience these films in theaters all over again?
Yeah, so they are apparently also doing this for Star Wars on May 4th, potentially. There have been talks about that. That is a lot of films in one day. So I just don't know how it works. I think the only turnoff is just the limited time frame to go see them. And I know you can't release these movies for weeks, right? There'll be empty theaters all across the states. But I would like to see a little bit more accessibility But as like a one-day, one-time event, it's also not that much of a cash grab. So I can kind of see the pros and the cons. I'm not against it, but I'm right there with you, Phil. Like, I'm not going to sit through, Spider-Man 3 or The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And honestly, I'm just not going to sit through every single movie for the sake of my sanity. It's just a lot of time to dedicate to a film. We watched Dune Part 1 and Part 2, and luckily didn't get exhausted, but just imagine that triple. That's essentially what's happening here, and I don't know that I can survive that. Badr, what about you? Is that a journey you think you might take at some point, or would you be interested? Is there a series you'd be interested in doing that for?
Good question. But to answer your immediate question, would I sit through... I mean, what's the total runtime? Did they say what the total runtime is? That is an all-day thing.
Oh, are you talking about for Spider-Man?
Yeah, right? Like you said that it is.
Oh, so they're releasing them like
okay, so it's not
over
a
the course of a few weeks.
Got it. Okay. I wanted to immediately hate on that. Like, who's got time to go see that, and like why? But Phil, I think you brought up a good reason why, where it's an opportunity in your case to bring your daughter who's not seen these movies in theaters. Like I remember watching. I've probably seen all those movies. No, I definitely have seen all of the Spider-Man movies in theater. And that is an experience that, I've gotten to enjoy, I look back on, now I can watch them on TV, on streaming, when I want. I think that is cool that there's an opportunity for a younger generation, for your kids, maybe for someone that missed that opportunity to get to, like, relive that, right? Like, if they have a Tuesday or whatever, a Wednesday open and they want to go see, hey, I've never seen the first, Spider-Man on the big screen. I think that's a cool opportunity. So I won't hate on that. I know personally for me, they come on TV so much. There's just no draw for me to go see it. Like I literally, I think around Thanksgiving, Christmas, they had Spider-Man, the first trilogy on TV like every week. Like I was just watching it as background noise at that point. So I don't know if there's any appeal for me to go see those. Maybe the No Way Home. Because that is the only one I didn't go see like twice in theaters. And I remember wanting to go back to theaters and watching it, but I missed that opportunity. Like I just got busy. So that one might be one that might pique my interest. But at the same time, I know that the magic, it won't be able to recreate the magic. Like you remember going to go see No Way Home and it was like, I remember like I actually had COVID like the week that movie premiered, and I had to wait like 2 weeks to go see it, and it was like excruciating having to avoid Twitter and the internet and like just avoiding spoilers, and it was so worth it to go see it in theaters and like that experience of everyone gasping when Tom Holland and sorry, not Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up. So I think for someone that hasn't had that experience. And hopefully I didn't just spoil it for someone that hasn't had that experience.
It's been a few years.
It's been long enough.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't seen, especially like the best ones of those, like Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire or Spider-Man 2 or the first Amazing Spider-Man and No Way Home, if you haven't experienced those in theaters and you've got the time, why not? Like, why not go see it on the big screen? I think that is like the perfect way to experience it. But for someone that's seen these movies so many times, I've got no interest. And Harry, that is a good question. Actually, would make for a pretty good topic. Is what series would you go like sit through a whole thing? And just going off the first thing that comes to mind, maybe John Wick. I probably would go see like John Wick again because I don't think it's come out on TV enough, and I haven't seen them enough to be like so inundated with them. So I wouldn't mind like sitting through those, and I think it's kind of doable too. I think there's only 4 John Wick movies, so if there was a marathon. Even though I feel like John Wick is one of those movie series that I don't know if you could watch it, all 4 in a marathon, because I think they would just bleed together so much. No pun intended. There'd be a lot of blood, but you know what I'm saying. So that's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah, they definitely kind of like go back to back too. So I mean, you absolutely could binge it that way
for sure.
For Star Wars, the way they're doing that one is marathon. Like it's just May the 4th is what I'm seeing here. So. Not including the extra Star Wars films like your Rogue Ones, your Solos, just the Skywalker saga, that's a whole day at the movies. I love Star Wars as much as anybody, but I don't love it that much.
But I think that is those type of events are made for like the hyper fan, but also I think it is a good gateway for someone that's like, okay, this is my opportunity to do, be a part of the culture and express my fan or get into the fandom, because like these movies are, I mean, just the Spider-Man movies are pretty old. Like if you lived it, you lived it. But now this is an opportunity for like a new generation or someone else to like get to say they had that experience. And like that Star Wars one, like like you said, that is probably like a 2-day thing. That is insane. But I think it is catered towards a specific individual that can sit through that and be fine and doesn't mind being at a movie for a long time. Really quick, I know, of all of us being here in Jax, I know Sunray Cinema did a Lord of the Rings marathon, which I heard, same reaction I got when I seen that they announced, hey, we're showing all the Lord of the Rings full marathon, all theater, our biggest theater is blocked for the whole day. And I remember thinking like, wow, that is insane. But I know a few people that went and were like, hey, it was such a cool experience. Like they did like the food menu up, people showed up dressed up. And I think that's kind of cool too, right? Like if it's an experience and, people and other people are going and really partaking in it and the theater is doing something special to make it worthwhile, why not?
I think the only thing I might consider doing that back-to-back with would maybe be Infinity War and Endgame. I think maybe I'd do those two back-to-back. But yeah, it would be hard. I couldn't really do it with Jurassic, Eric, because there's such varying levels of good films, even though I like it would be like
That
first
is
one would be
true.
like,
Yeah.
man, I have a great time. Lost World. It was pretty good. Jurassic Park 3 be like, I think I'm going to skip this one. I think I'm going to go home. And then same thing with Jurassic World. So it would be tough.
Yeah, for the Spider-Man one, there's definitely, I think, Eric, you brought up, there's definitely two that I would probably use that time to, like, maybe go in the parking lot and stretch. Like Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man
next door
2.
to
I
eat.
might even, like, go home, take a nap, and come back for the rest.
Yeah.
True.
I think Spider-Man 2 and No Way Home are definitely, like, must watches for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
You can have a toss-up on the first Spider-Man, even though I really enjoy it, but I think people could have that discussion. And Eric, we talked about it the other day. Homecoming, I think, has become incredibly underrated.
Such a
I
great
would like
movie.
to see Homecoming.
That is
for
one
sure.
that is one that always plays on TV, and I think through repetition, I have learned to like really like it. So I'm not, and it sounds weird, right? It sounds like I have Stockholm syndrome because I don't think I was the biggest fan when it first came out. But the more I watched it, like there's definitely a certain charm to Homecoming where I get, if it's on, I'm like having a good time watching it.
It's such a perfect movie too. You have Michael Keaton as the Vulture, and then it's Tom Holland, like real young too. So you have.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I was mixing that up with Far From Home. Far From Home was one that I was a little hesitant on, but I enjoyed that. You're right. Homecoming with Michael Keaton, all of that.
Yeah.
That one is awesome.
Plus, you have that iconic like Spider-Man cover. It's like ASM. I think it's like '83, the one where he has the rubble all on his back. Like that still gets me to this day when he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man! Come on, Spider-Man!" Yeah. He's talking to himself. Like,
and I mean, you got Tony Stark in that Homecoming one too. I mean, come on.
Right.
Which some people like, some people don't.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I think like these Spider-Man movies are kind of like a good thing. I'm hoping they can kind of touch on. I know Sunray does like tapped out Tuesdays to where it's like $5 movie Tuesdays. I think Cinemark and AMC do that as well. But I feel like that could be a cool little vibe. And then if they can kind of take over how cable kind of had like the whole TNT where you're in a hotel and it's like, dang, is that Hot Fuzz on in the background? I got nothing to do. I'll go watch that.
Yeah.
If they could pull like movies like, dang, I forgot all about Hot Rod, or I all forgot about this movie. Like, I feel like that would be a perfect one. But
these
to
have
try to
marathons.
capitalize on Spider-Man is going to be a little tough because there's so many of them, and then you don't really want to get burnt unless they're trying to like lead up into a new movie, which maybe they might be doing for the Craven movie if that's still coming out. But I don't know.
Imagine a marathon with all of those shitty Spider-Man one-offs like Madam Web, Craven back to back.
Venom's
Venom.
Venom 2 specifically. Yeah.
And
actually, the more I think about this is also something. This is like a gift you buy a friend that has never watched whatever Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Spider-Man. And he's kind of like teeter-tottering, like I'm gonna get to them. This is like a gift you buy, like, hey, look, MFer, this is you're going to be so sick and tired of this, franchise in one day. We're getting it all wrapped up. Like the fact that, you can't go out in public and say, you go out in public and you have to say you've never seen Star Wars. We're going to fix that with the most extreme way, the extreme remedy. 8 hours.
Well, I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Eyeballs.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings, and I'm telling y'all right now, do not buy this for me. don't do it.
I mean, you look like a guy who has like 12 hours and just wants to watch people walk a lot. So Lord of the Rings might be up your alley.
No, please no.
Read you like a book.
We will be seeing Interstellar in IMAX. Eric's definitely excited about that because we just watched Interstellar for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
In the last 6 months.
Such a great movie.
Interstellar is also another movie that I think. When it comes on TV, it tends to just come on TV a lot. I don't, I know that it works by who's got the license for the movie and who's got the rights to show it at the time, and that can flip flop. But that is a movie that will play on TV, but you never get the full extent because it's meant to be viewed in IMAX. And I can get behind those kinds of movies where it's like, hey, we're bringing this back to IMAX or theaters because it warrants like an immersive, experience. Like. If they brought Godzilla Year One back to theaters, I'd be all in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm excited for it to hit streaming and streaming and on TV. But that's a movie that I still think about, like how awesome it was experienced in the theaters. So I'm okay with like movies like Interstellar coming back and Godzilla Year One and all that.
Yeah, Godzilla would be perfect, and then it would be great if they could kind of play into the meme aspect for
really quick. I'm
showing
sorry,
a movie. Oh, you're good.
I've been saying Godzilla Year One, and none of you corrected me that it's minus one. Like
well, there is a
I'm sorry
Godzilla Year One.
Yeah,
so
right,
I was like,
right.
That 2016 movie was pretty dope.
I meant minus one. All right,
Gotcha.
minus one.
But no, what I was saying is like it would be kind of interesting if they could commit to a meme of being like, all right, one random showing on a Wednesday once a month. It's Morbin time. Come see Morbius at 7:30 just for the people who didn't get to experience
Don't
the
do
meme.
that, Trey.
That would be the
They
shittiest.
have like warning labels, and then everybody can like
We're
throw
having
popcorn
such
and
a
everything
good
like that.
episode. Why
It's
telling
so
you.
great. And then they
That's
could
the
show
marathon
Real
they
Steel
need.
to wrap it all the way back around.
Oh
It'd be
my
great.
god!
I go see Real Steel in theaters. Well, and then in 10 years, we're going to be watching the Pooniverse all in one day.
That's right, Pooniverse.
Tie back, baby. I love it.
Mark our words. In 10 years, there will be a marathon of the Poopers for sure.
I love it. Perfect tie back.
All right, guys. Well, we were going to transition to our game here in just a moment. Thanks for all those stories. But we always do take this time. Did anybody have any extra stories that they want to just throw out here for us to very shortly discuss before we move on to the game and then wrap up the episode?
I got two quick ones. It's kind of like just two quick little spotlights. I know Star Wars Acolyte, that trailer came out, and it's getting dragged by everywhere. Like, I think it has the most dislikes, so I don't really understand why people are hating it. I think it's because it's not tying in with your Skywalker family. It's going High Republic, like 1,000 years into the
Which, like, figure out what you want. Do you want the Skywalkers or do you not want the Skywalkers? Pick one lane and stick to it.
Because I read the I read the High Republic series, and it was fantastic. But I don't know. It seems like everybody's hating on Acolytes, and then on top of another trailer that just dropped, the Penguin trailer, like teaser trailer, came out too. So I know that's a little in March. Like, hey, looks kind of cool, but I have no idea when that's releasing too. So hopefully those can be two little cool things to keep your eye out for things in March. But those are my
Colin
two quick
Farrell
ones.
as the Penguin is fantastic, so I'm down to potentially see more of that. And the Acolyte, I will say, upon first view, it didn't feel very Star Wars. I know there are like some kung fu elements, and I understand the lore of Star Wars, and it's like the Seven Samurai. Like I understand, but just off of the first view of the trailer, it didn't feel like Star Wars, but I was willing to give it a shot, and it did feel darker in tone in general, and we're getting a bunch of Jedi. Like, we're getting a bunch of lightsaber stuff involved, so I'm willing to give it a shot. I don't know. It's also a very diverse cast, and we live in troubling times, so I wouldn't be surprised if the negative reviews had anything to do with that.
I'm like fingers crossed. I'm hoping it goes this route, but I doubt it. But I'll say it now. I feel like if they can keep the like darker themes and kind of have it not as gory, but like, oh god, this guy actually got an arm chopped off. I'm gonna say Acolytes is gonna turn out like Blue Eye Samurai from Netflix. How no one really had that on the radar, and then, oh my lord, everybody needs to watch this. I feel like Acolytes, they could do that, but knowing Disney, unless Deadpool really takes off with the whole super R-rated for Disney, I don't know, but I'm hoping. I'm gonna shoot my shot from a long distance. I'm gonna say Acolytes is gonna be like that show that people are like, damn, this is gonna be great.
Is Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
Never heard of it.
I hate you. Badr, did you have any stories that that you wanted to rapid fire in here? Anything that also caught on your radar that we didn't get in the main part of the episode?
No, I think between the DC one and what you guys brought up, I'm sitting good. We're sitting good.
Badr's like, I want to eat.
Yeah.
I'll make mine really quick. Phil, this is specifically to you. Scarlett Johansson, Jurassic World. How you feeling? Okay, well, Phil's not going to speak or make comments on that right now.
I tried to ignore that story for the whole month, and now it's being reported by like credible news sources, and I'm like, well,
you're finally getting Asian representation in your favorite franchise.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So
God bless.
Great.
Yeah, God bless. All right, my real story that I wanted to mention. Neither of these games may be your cup of tea, but I just think it's an interesting story or a conversation to have. There are a lot of stories coming out this month. Number one, things like Warner Brothers moving away from AAA games and focusing more on live services. This is a big surprise because Hogwarts Legacy is like the first game to outsell Call of Duty last year, and it was a fun game, amazing game last year. So a very interesting move there. And then you also have Baldur's Gate 3, and essentially the director and the company that works with that, I just started playing that game for the first time. It's fantastic, but there are no plans for DLC, no plans for Baldur's Gate 4, and essentially what it comes down to is the studio didn't have their heart in it. They felt like they were just doing it for the sake of doing it. And there are things I can appreciate on both sides. So my questions to you are, if you are familiar with these games, how do you feel? And if not, how do you feel about a company stopping before the game becomes a problem? For example, your Assassin's Creeds, your Halos, those games had their peak and should have stopped in retrospect. Easier said than done. So whether you have that feeling about these two games and franchises or in general, are there franchises that you wish would have stopped while they were ahead? Badr, I'll throw that one to you first.
Oof. You know, man, that damn good question, Eric. I am currently so on the topic of Baldur's Gate. That is a game that I think I was at a crossroads where it was either I was going to play that or play Final Fantasy Rebirth. Luckily, Final Fantasy Rebirth came in the mail before I had to make that decision. But I've heard nothing but great thing about Baldur's Gate, which is like an understatement, right? Like it's like winning awards is like highly praised, like duh. So I might have to check it out after I'm done with Final Fantasy Rebirth. But I can respect the decision to not do it if their heart's not into it. Actually, I feel like I wish more, especially like in Hollywood, that was the case where, you know, the artistic integrity came first before the financial motivation. So I do respect that. And because, you know, it's like, this is a video game. Like, if people really miss it, they can just play it some. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not going anywhere. You can play it some more. You can try to 100% it.
Right.
But at the same time, I could see where it's like, well, why not just take your time? I think I'm more of the mindset of like, well, don't say never. Just, you know, be like, you know, just take your time with it. And if it comes, it comes. Like, if you guys do decide to, you know, want to put your heart into it or find a story, a new inspiration to put it out, go that route. I don't really ever like the, hey, this will, you know, absolutes. Only a Sith deals in absolutes, to bring it back to Star Wars. So I don't know about the absolutes, because then it tends to look like a gimmick when it's like 2 years later, they're like, Baldur's Gate 4 comes out. And it's like, wait a minute, what happened to the whole heart's not into it? So I always like when people leave it kind of open-ended, like a little bit of mystery. Now, what franchise could they have stopped that? I guess the two that come to mind, because every year or every couple of years, I'm always like, wow, they're still putting these games out? I guess it's like the big three fighting games, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and Street Fighter. Right. I'm always like, man, this was like Street Fighter, I think 5. 4 or 5, I forgot which one was like really good. I think 4 came out and I was like, but then 5 came out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And now you got, what is the current Street Fighter? Is it 6 or 5?
No idea. I'm pretty sure it's like either
it's
8
5.
or
It is
5
up there.
or. I don't
Okay,
know.
maybe I
5?
am thinking, okay. You know what it is? Because 4 has had so many
think it's
DLCs.
6.
Maybe that, what is it?
Yeah, it's 6.
Okay, 6.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not bugging.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess for me, I'm still amazed that these franchises are still going, and it's still like the basic premise of like it's still a fighting game at its core with a lot of new bells and whistles. So there's a little bit of me that's like, wow, these are still going. No, hang it up. But then there's another side of me that's like, I want to see how you guys are going to improve this. You know what I'm saying? I don't play like Madden, but every year I do like seeing what people say about it and like how they manage to like win people over or make it different. So I think there is an art in being like that commercially like focused, where it's like, look, this is a moneymaker. This gravy train is not stopping. Well, show me what the new bells and whistles will be. So I guess I come at it from that perspective of like, I wish more places had artistic integrity, but I know some things are just too good to stop. You know, so I'm always of the mindset of like, okay, well, how do you make it interesting and new? So I feel like that was kind of like a half-assed answer, but I'm going to say I'm still impressed at Street Fighter. Now, granted, Street Fighter, it's not like on, Street Fighter 20. It's only on 6, but there's way more than 6 games. But it's still like, wow, you guys are... Street Fighter's going to be around when I'm like 90. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be telling like kids, I remember when Street Fighter, 2 came out. And they're like, Grandpa, Street Fighter 7 came out last month. It's like, God damn.
And that's a
Back
good
in my
example too,
day, I
because
played it with a
a
quarter.
fighting game, and a fighting game can be perfected too. Like you can get combat down exactly where you want it,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of leave it there. But
Mortal
again,
Kombat just
moneymaker.
restarted to 1 recently.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat
so
1.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good example, Badr. And you pretty much answered it for Phil. Phil, when should Madden have stopped?
How
Oh, a
dare
long
you.
time ago.
Long time
Yeah,
ago.
long time ago. But I keep buying it.
Yes, you
Because
do.
I'm a shill, and there's no other option.
Right?
There is no other option. The only reason I even bought it recently on Steam is because I have downloaded mods that may turn it into a completely different game, and it's now playable.
Still
Bring back
barely
NFL
playable.
2K.
Yeah. 2K.
Yeah.
And
I think for
NCAA,
me-
whenever NCAA comes out, it's going to be fantastic.
I think in my
Hopefully.
situation, I am always perpetually behind a lot of stuff because I just busy as hell. So I guess I don't get caught up too much in the rat race of like always trying to have like the newest thing. I'm always like, playing shit that's 2 years. And I think a couple years ago, I was like that where I was buying every new game. It felt like, I wanted to be on the up and up. I wanted to be a part of the moment. And it just like got too much where I was like, well, I'm just burning money just to burn money. And then I made a hard line in the sand where it's like, beat a game, buy a game. No matter how old it is, find the games that like interest me and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's
and,
great.
And really quick, Eric, as far as Baldur's Gate, first off, it's at almost an infinite replayability, between the character creator. And it's a game I'm never going to play, but it can be, you can just play that game over and over again differently every single time. But also, from what I watched a video recently, like Wizards of the Coast can just take the IP somewhere else. So there could be either a Baldur's Gate 4 or a spiritual successor. So I think it's good for the publisher to, stop while they are very much ahead. And just let them kind of take it where they want it to be. Because right now, I mean, you just got into it, and you're just scratching the surface.
Yeah,
So,
and I can definitely see this game having a lot of years under it just off of that replayability. So, Badr, when you start playing, hit me up. I will start a journey with you, my
I mean,
friend.
Eric's been replaying BioShock for 20 years. So
I should play it tonight. I should download it. Anyway,
It's a great
Trey.
game.
Trey, what about you? Anything that kind of stands out, either about those games or any franchise in general, to wrap this up?
For me personally, I think they need to try to stay the route of keeping a classic game classic like that. Like, if it has really good praise, I understand there's a market out there to be able to make your quick buck by adding a DLC or extending it. But, like, Ghost of Tsushima is a perfect example of, like, we don't need a remake of that. I get it, they're doing that Ronin game that should be coming out at the end of the year, but that's just a perfect game. I think it had, like, maybe one DLC added on, like, 2 years later just for, like, a big patch update with some, like, different, like, clothing and options like that. No real, like, story add-ons, but I feel like they just need to stay face, because whenever people start adding more exclusive DLCs, that's where you go back to the whole having to pay to unlock stuff, kind of like how Battlefront 2 kind of died. So I feel like they need to stay that route. And I think personally for me, there's so many classic games that really haven't been touched from back in the day that they should, once they make a big Baldur's Gate like 3, they should have like the ability to, all right, here's a 3 to 4 year buffer to, all right, go do your own project. This was a success, so now you get to bring back like an old school game and kind of modernize it and bring it up to the scales and the masses, and then give it the servers to be able to play. Because you guys know me, I'm a big Star Wars guy. Battlefront 2, the collection edition, same here. But I still feel like there's a good premise of that because it had such a big blow up. So you can bring back all these classic games like Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, and like Gauntlet, and all these other old school games that like they had the cold following. All they need is the servers and the updates just to make it viable. And then if companies can tie their names to them and see like, hey, I keep noticing these names, not just because it had like a cool logo, I actually noticed these games putting in these works, you're gonna have the people start to actually come around and support and get behind it, instead of it just being like, oh, this is just a big company like Blizzard, I don't really care, I know I play the game, but man, I feel like if you do that, you're actually doing some fan service, and you're not just mudding the waters by adding a million DLC stuff too fast. At least that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think every game should just adopt the GTA model, just release it on every console that comes out, and never release the next game until they say GTA 6 is coming. Do I believe it? I guess they gave us a trailer, so I have to, but I'll believe it when I have it in my hands. So, Phil, you have a game for us to jump into, and if you want to go over the instructions for that.
Does everybody have access to their mobile phones? I know sometimes Badr, you're on I don't think you're on Riverside on your phone, right? You're on
I got my phone right here.
Okay, cool. I just sent it to the group chat, and Trey, let me send that to you as well. So you guys will join this link here, and then let me know when you got that pulled up, and I'll give you the code, which is also in the chat if you want to check that, but I can just read it off here as well.
0008.
Yep. Okay. And let me know when you guys are. Well, you can also see it in here. So you'll pick, I think, like a little animal. There you go. Who's celery?
Me.
Okay.
There are so many options.
Okay,
I'm going to spend way too long looking at these options.
That's what I'm doing.
Same amount of options as last time. Oh, actually, I put too many teams, but that's okay. There's only 3 of you. I put 4. I'm not.
I think I was just.
I'm going to be big onion.
Last time.
Big onion boy.
Okay. And as we get started here, Eric picked the T-Rex. All right. As we get started here, for those of you that are listening, once again, best way to see all these questions is to watch the YouTube version of the show. Eric, I am going to change it up a little bit. So, guys, obviously, if you don't know already, if you can't see, this is going to be Jeopardy. And let me share my screen here. Let me make sure I turn the audio off, because last time that was a disaster.
It was. We're learning on the fly.
All right.
I dig it.
Go.
And you guys all know how to play Jeopardy. I shouldn't have to explain this to you, Eric. I only have 4 categories here this time, but I am going to change it up a little bit from last time for our listeners that are only listening for the audio version. So do not buzz in until I have finished the question. So we will keep it like that, because I realize, people probably, some of them don't know what the question was, because we got an answer or a buzzer before that. So we have 4 categories here this month. We have Not So Marvelous, which is about the MCU. DC Supremacy, which is a combination of both live action and animated DC shows. Anime Heroes, so anime protagonists specifically. And Villains Have More Fun, which is all about Disney villains. So I will spin the wheel to see who goes first. I will not share that. I'll just let you know who goes first. I don't know why is my name in here.
I had the countdown ready and all.
Hey Phil, is there any way for you to make that screen just a little bigger?
Yeah, I was going to tell you it looks a little distant on mine. There's like a lot of blue over to the right.
Yeah.
I can't read none of them. I'm just going to say numbers, Doug.
What about that? Is that better?
much better.
Way better.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
go.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, cool. And Trey, you have first picks if you want to go ahead and start. Once again, just make sure that I read the question first before buzzing in. You should have a buzzer. Does everybody have a buzzer on their phone?
Yeah.
I should have.
Yeah, it's just great. It's just grayed out right now.
Okay, cool. All right, Trey, pick a category and dollar amount.
I'm going to go big money with DC Supremacy for 500, Alex. Thank you.
Ooh, the Pokemon
All right,
are
we're
good.
starting
Hot,
off.
hot, hot,
In Batman Beyond Season 3, Episode 7 and 8, titled The Call, who is revealed to be the Justice League traitor?
hot. Oh, wow. That is a deep cut. Fuck it. I'm going to go. A buzz
Did you buzz in? Okay, cool. Go ahead, Badr.
I'm going to go Martian Manhunter. Oh, what is Martian Manhunter? Golly.
Trey?
What is Wally West the Flash? Because he gets taken over by Lex Luthor. No, that's Justice
Eric?
League Unlimited.
Eric, would you like to guess?
I don't want to lose any money.
Boo.
Oh, you could just pass? Oh, hell yeah. I'm definitely pass it next time.
Oh,
Superman.
Ah,
under the
Starro.
control of Starro.
Oh, you
Eric,
got-
you're in the lead.
you got images in here? Hello?
I do. Yeah,
The
I
prep
stepped it up.
work.
a little
Gray-hair
bit.
Superman,
Stepped
too.
it up.
Phil,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
All
when
right.
if that is the level of difficulty of these questions,
I mean,
On
to
I
be
front
tried
fair,
to make the
of-
500.
my points are going to be
pretty difficult.
huge. It's just that there's going to be a negative in front of it. I'm going to have a lot of
I
points.
tried to make the 500s pretty difficult.
Thank
All
God
right,
it's
Trey,
fake money. Ugh.
We'll throw it back to you, Trey.
I like that we're going really hard, so let's go one that I have no idea. Anime for 500.
all right, let me just
Remember,
warm
Eric
up.
is in this, so.
Oh, come on, yeah. I want to see Eric just
right.
let off.
How many days did Tanjiro have to survive for the final selection?
Oh my god.
This looks great on this bigger screen. I wish I had done this before.
I mean, I'll buzz in.
All right, Trey.
What is Dragon Ball? I don't know this anime.
How many days? You could say a number.
7.
Oh, shit.
That's what I was gonna
Wow.
guess.
Wow. 7
God.
days.
My man said, "What is Dragon Ball?"
shoulda-
That's
Let's go.
All right, Trey. Back to you.
Oh, God, I'm great at this game. Let's go. Villains have more fun for 500. Knocking out all the big boys tonight.
All right. According to Screen Rant, which Disney villain has the highest kill count?
Disney villain.
Oof. That's a lot of villains to consider. Highest kill count.
Are they just going off of movies?
Yeah, it's anime. It's all animated. Eric?
I'm just taking a complete shot in the dark. Is it Frollo?
No.
Damn.
I legit haven't.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to go for it. What is
Oh,
Thanos?
I think Trey buzzed in.
Oh, he did?
Sorry.
I'm not going to do it because I'm going to let you take that one. I'm going to go. Why can I not remember his name? Oh my
And
God.
it's animated Disney villain,
Why
just
can I
so
not
you
think
know.
of his
It's all
name?
animated.
Oh,
Disney
okay.
villains.
The orange
Alright,
hair
that's
from Invincible. I can't think of his name. The orange hair dude. You know who I'm talking about?
From the Incredibles?
From
Incredible.
Disney.
I said
Yeah,
Invincible. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. No.
No.
right.
Water?
Well, I buzzed in, so I got it. Knowing that it's animated, I'm going to change it to Scar.
Sean Yu.
from
Oh,
that makes
man,
sense.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be like the
OG.
real like
Isn't he
Genghis
just
Khan?
Genghis Khan?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Should have thought about
I
that.
got canceled if I
Alright.
tried to answer that. Oh my God.
Well, Eric got the most one. No, Trey got the most one. Got one recently, right?
Ah,
It was
look at sad
Trey?
Sa-
Yeah.
celery over
Yeah,
there.
it's still
Alright.
Trey.
Celery just looking sad.
All right,
boy.
Trey. Do you want Not So Marvelous for 500?
You know me, baby.
We can only go up from here.
Which non-MCU film made the least amount of money at the box office?
Non-MCU film, but it's underneath the Marvelous category? Non-MCU. I don't know.
It's a deep cut. Trey?
Is it the Eric Bana Hulk movie? The 2003 one? No? Ah.
Yeah, Eric, you're back in the lead.
It's great.
Don't play it safe. Come on.
I want to take a shot at it. I'm trying to think non-MCU film. Deep Cut makes me think it's an older film.
Oh, you could go meme. Wink, wink.
I'm gonna stand pack. This is hurting me.
Okay.
Trying
No,
to remember.
no guess.
How dare you?
Badr, you want to give it a shot or no?
I'm gonna pass on this one.
All
I'm
right.
already down
It is
1,000.
Punisher Warzone, $10 million.
I would have never
Wow.
guessed that.
That released in
I
theaters?
forget that movie
This is
exists.
not even a deep cut. This is like this is like
Another
a black
stratosphere.
hole cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We're going
Is that
space.
movie
All right,
real?
Trey. Throwing it back to you.
I'm picking again. All right, I'll give us an easy one. Let's go DC 100.
Thank you. Holy shit.
Aquaman is the highest grossing DC film of all time. What is the second highest? Badr.
I'm gonna go Batman versus Superman. It's probably
No.
I knew it.
Trey.
He picked my answer, but thankfully that didn't work. I'm gonna go. Why can I not think of her name? Wonder Woman. First Wonder Woman.
No. What's your guess, though? No.
I think that one.
Eric.
Come on.
Batman v Superman.
Wait, it's Dark Knight. Wow.
Oh.
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, my
Yeah.
second guess would have been Justice League, but okay.
Dark Knight Rises. All right, Trey.
Okay.
Dang, I'm picking everything. Let's go Anime 100.
When Ash finally won a Pokemon League championship, which Pokemon did Pikachu defeat to help take home the crown?
Can I phone a friend? My girlfriend's literally in the room next door and knows everything Pokemon.
I'm gonna go. I believe it was Dragonite.
No.
You know, I'm
Eric,
just
is that
digging
you?
myself.
Is that a
I'm
buzz for
digging
you?
this hole.
Was it Charizard?
That
That was
It was
close.
a dragon.
If you pull up
Yeah, you're
Dragonite,
close. Yeah,
it's
you're-
essentially the same thing.
Same color.
Nice.
Whatever.
All right, you know what?
All right, Eric.
All right, finally, control the board. Villains have more fun for 100.
Yzma from Emperor's New Groove accidentally turned herself into what animal towards the end of the film? Eric.
A cat.
Boy, you said that.
I started
Is that
to
a
then
question
think it was a squirrel for some reason, or like a chipmunk. I started getting confused.
Eric, I think you're supposed to give answers, not a question back.
Hey, confidence
All right,
is
Eric.
not going to happen here. All right, let's go ahead and do Not So Marvelous for 100.
Which MCU film has the worst opening weekend?
I'm gonna go. I believe. Ah, crap! Come on! It was Black Widow.
Oh,
Come on.
Trey.
Okay, then it's the other one.
What is the Eternals?
Eric.
It's
Thought I nailed
the
it.
Marvels, I believe.
That was my okay.
Yep.
The Marvels.
So recent, you know what?
6
Because it's so
million.
recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That was
felt
my
like I
second pick,
heard.
but
I
good.
felt like I had recently heard
No.
that it had like just been so
that's good.
bad.
I should have known better.
Eric.
All right, let's go to Not So Marvelous for 200.
Which Sony Marvel project has the lowest letterboxd average?
Oof.
Badr.
Morbius.
No.
Come on, man. Oh, All right, now I got another answer for
That
that.
felt like that should have been.
He picked mine.
Right?
The second Venom. I don't know any other Marvel Sony projects.
Oh, there's quite
Eric.
a few.
Gotta
Oh,
be
you
Madam
know what?
Web then.
Is Madam Web.
I would've
and
thought-
it just barely beat out
Craven?
Morbius,
Morbius.
by 0.1. So
Yeah.
1.6 is
Okay.
Morbius.
But it didn't
yeah.
win for memes. Like, come on. I was hoping more memes would give it 5
All
stars.
right, Eric.
Yeah, I would have guessed Morbius if I had clicked faster. Let's continue down Marvelous, Not So Marvelous.
Which MCU film has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score? Badr.
Oh, come on. I thought one of you guys would answer first. I'm tired of I was like, oh, I'm going to wait this time. Okay, MC film is the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm going to go The Marvels.
You know what? I forgot the answer. Give me just a second.
Phil, this is so unprofessional.
Oh Lord,
It's fine.
Go ahead and give me this little 3-piece right here.
It
is
is
for real
fine.
money, too.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to
Gotta pay up at the
donate
end.
this film.
I'm running.
You're gonna have to join. What did you say?
I said
marbles.
the marbles.
Okay. No.
All right, you can take that 3-piece. Watch it be an obvious one.
Eric.
I'm gonna go Eternals here.
It's a damn good guess.
Trey.
Wow.
Iron Man 3.
No, it should be though.
Yeah, I think we all agree.
It is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
That's
Really?
right.
Now is that
MODOK?
is that critic score or audience score?
Critic.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, did that one get bombed like for reviews because of the Jonathan Majors thing, or no?
No, it
No, I
got
don't
bombed
think that
because it
happened
just
till
was not
after.
a decent movie.
Yeah, it also was
Yeah,
not.
It
just
bombed
wasn't
because it was
a
not
good
the
movie.
strongest movie, but I didn't
Eric,
think it was
back
that
to
bad.
you.
All right.
You want to finish up Marvel?
Yeah, I just wanted to see for context. Yeah, that audience score is 82 for Quantumania. That is wrong.
crazy.
Let's do Not So Marvelous for 400.
As of June 2023, which MCU Disney Plus show had the lowest viewership? Trey.
What is Secret Invasion? Really?
Potter.
I'm gonna go with.
Oh, I think I know it. Damn it.
Okay. What is? I'm stuck between two. I'm gonna go. What's Miss Marvel?
There we go.
Oh, come on.
Really?
Let's go. 400. It was between that
like
and
that
like.
show.
That's because
and
Badr
Miss
hasn't
Marvel.
watched it. I knew it.
I thought it was going to be Echo.
I was gonna. I could have said Echo, but I was also gonna say What If Season 2. But
Really?
Oh, okay.
I'm saying, but the question is lowest viewership. I don't think like what was the worst.
Ah,
Right.
I guess.
All right, Badr, you have
Yes,
the
I got
board.
to pick one. All right, let's go. Let's go DC Supremacy for 300.
300. Which animated DC film has the highest
Come
Rotten
on, I'm so
Tomatoes
tired.
score?
Okay, highest. Do you know how many DC animated
buzzed in.
films are?
I
There's
already
a
know it.
lot.
Oh, Trey.
Mask of the Phantasm.
No.
How?
You know what I'm saying? It's like okay,
How?
all right.
Oh my God, how?
You know what? I don't have to punish myself. I just realized I've been like just punishing myself and not playing strategically. I'm like, oh, let me just join in on the fun.
Yeah, this
Eric,
one.
would you
I'm
like
gonna play
to give
this
it a
one
guess?
smart.
not
For
answering you
animated
guys'
films,
stink.
I feel like it could be anything, so I'm gonna skip on this one.
Same.
You know, skip this one, Badr?
Yeah, if
You
it's
guys-
not Mask
It
of
is Teen
Phantasm.
Titans Go to the Movies.
Would not have guessed that.
91%.
I thought
Not
it'd be
at all.
like,
This
I
is
thought it'd be
why-
like a Flash film or like a Flashpoint or
This
something
is why
like
we
that.
don't. This
Are
is
those-
why we don't judge things off of Rotten Tomatoes or take Rotten Tomatoes too seriously.
Are kids that old and even allowed to be on Rotten Tomatoes? Like what?
All right, Badr, still your board.
All right. Let's just knock out DC Supremacy. Let's go 400. Since I had good
Ooh,
luck.
big
with the
money.
400.
I'm making a
How
comeback.
many DC EU films have a 90% or higher Rotten Tomatoes score? DC
I'm
EU.
gonna go for it.
Badr.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go with 3.
Ooh.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Suicide
Solid.
Squad
Almost
2021,
said 4. Almost
Shazam,
said 4.
and Wonder Woman. I don't know why this is just a Suicide. Oh, it's a thing. Oh, there we go. There's multiple pictures. I was
Okay,
like, why is
got
it only one?
That's crazy.
Let's
so
go.
much work.
And saying
right.
that, I mean, like,
Aquaman,
you know, like some of the.
I think Aquaman was close, but not 90. Yeah.
Okay. But in saying that, like,
All right,
Batman isn't on there. Like, no
Yeah,
Batman's
right.
on there. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's knock out DC Supremacy for 200.
In January 2024, what did Screen Rant rank as the best DC animated series? Badr.
Batman the Animated Series.
No.
how?
Trey.
I gotta see. I have to see the answer.
How? Justice League Unlimited?
Did you buzz?
Yeah, I buzzed.
No, he didn't. Hold on.
I did. It says buzzed in.
Phil,
Well, go ahead and look.
No, hold on.
He said an answer. Go ahead and mark him off with the points. Come on.
I got to make sure because
I nailed
had
it.
a different name in the list.
No?
No.
Oh, I know what they did. These new people. Oh,
Eric?
God, I know what they did.
Do you want to give it a guess?
not with the hint you just gave. I'm gonna sit tight.
Yeah, Eric, play this smart. You could easily win.
Oh shit! You know what? Sorry, it wasn't.
I knew it.
It was
Okay.
back.
I thought it said There you go.
Making a comeback, baby.
I would.
I
you
thought
know
it
what?
said 2024.
I would
for some
accept
reason.
this
Okay, there
over
we go.
Batman animated. I think this is a compelling argument.
I think Batman animated series was number 3.
Wow.
What? How?
Two.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and look.
Okay,
But I
okay.
think it was number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let Trey pick the
All right,
next
Trey.
topic.
Yeah. Let's go with villains have more fun for 200.
200.
What is Dr. Facilier's song titled in Princess and the Frog?
I haven't seen that movie, but I've answered every question, so I have to try to answer. Is Doctor song titled in Princess?
Stefan
and the
is
Frog?
somewhere pulling his hair out right now.
Just because I've answered to everything,
Trey?
I'm gonna go is the Frog song.
I should give you like
a
extra
bad
negative
guess.
points for that
I
answer.
mean,
Eric, you want to give it a guess?
Sure. It's not Are You Ready? It's God, dude.
You
Oh,
are going
oh.
to kick
Go.
yourself when you hear that.
From the Other Side?
Come on, Eric.
Is that like really close?
Yes.
Damn. That's fine. You
Aw,
can give
come
me a
on,
negative
B.
for not knowing it.
come on, B, throw it out
No.
there.
No, not at all. I'm trying to play now. Like the,
Friends on the other side.
Friends
Oh, I
on
guess
the
I
other
didn't get a
side.
picture for this.
Yeah.
Eric was
I'd give
pretty
it to him.
close.
That was pretty close.
Eric was like super.
You want me to
close.
give him the points?
Yeah.
I mean,
Points,
do.
you guys?
I
Okay.
feel like he got that.
Let's go.
Okay. There you go.
I mean,
I
not
had to-
all
I had
the
to
points.
reach
Give him like
deep.
half. Give him like
All right, give me
Oh,
like
I'll
100.
give you half a point. There you go.
Like
Yeah,
big
give him
amounts.
100.
I like hearing the. You guys can't hear it, but it gives me like a little, like a buzzer if I take away points,
Yeah.
or like a ding if I'm just gonna.
What was that? A lot of
Just,
things.
All right, Eric.
just remember this act
Back
of
to you.
kindness, Eric.
All right. Yeah. Let's try to get some ground here. I'm gonna move over to anime heroes for 200.
Yeah, do it.
Which district did Eren Yeager live in before the fall of Walmaria? Eric.
Ganchana.
Damn, that was so good. Eric just like that was like the easiest free throw.
Yeah, it was very quick. You already know. Just keep
Wow, that
going.
was like Steph Curry doing a free throw.
All of All Might's ultimate moves are named after states except for one. What is it called?
Come on, Eric. I cannot believe I'm rooting for Eric. I'm like, oh, come on, Eric.
I feel like this is a trick question. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna be mad if this isn't it. You said they're all named after states, so the one that's not a state is the United States of Smash. Is that right?
No.
That's crazy. Okay, no, that's
I do love the mental gymnastics you did for that one, though. That was pretty
Trey?
good.
Another anime I haven't seen, but I gotta keep it going by answering. Ultimate Punch. I don't know.
I just love the commitment.
I gotta throw them out there. I know I don't have a comeback.
Badr, do you want to give a guess?
No, I'm gonna set this one out, but I will answer the other ones.
The
Yeah.
Detroit Smash.
I had Smash in there.
You know what?
Oh, that's a
My Hero,
city.
Right.
so My Hero Academia is one of these primarily like shows, mangas for sure, that I want to read. I enjoyed manga a little more than anime, and that is one that has been on my list for so long because it's always been described to me as like Badr. It's superhero comics that you like, but just in manga form. So I gotta
Yeah,
give that a shot.
absolutely.
Yeah, my brother in a
Absolutely.
negative annotation, I don't disagree, but the negative
yeah.
annotation I don't appreciate, just calls them basically the X-Men. So that's essentially, yeah, that's essentially
He's not totally wrong.
Not totally
Eric, you want to wrap up Anime Heroes?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm a little disappointed in that last one.
In 2022, who did IGN select as their greatest anime character of all time? Badr.
Goku.
No.
Come on.
He was in the top 3, though.
It would be something
Trey?
IGN would do.
Oh God.
for sure.
Naruto. Why not? Right there.
I think number 2.
Oh, nice. Okay, then come on, Eric. You know what it is. You know who they chose.
Not IGN. 'cause
Piccolo.
IGN,
No, I'm kidding.
IGN doesn't know what they're doing.
But
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I don't know his name, so I can't go with it.
Describe him.
What's the main
We can
character
definitely
in
help you.
Bleach? The
We
main
can't help
character
you.
in Bleach.
Ichigo?
Ichigo.
no way, it's definitely Luffy. All day.
Oh,
I should have said Luffy to begin with, but
You
hurts
just
my
spent.
heart.
You just spent like $800 on him.
I've got him back. He's literally
that is true.
smiley
He's
face.
going to be so disappointed. You got to return that
Yeah,
now.
now you
Man.
got
You got to
to,
return
Eric.
that.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
Do your credit in your wallet. Okay, we go return. it.
You'll
Yep.
return it.
All right, Eric. Which of these last two would you
Let's
like?
just go down the line.
Who is the first Disney villain to kill a main character on screen? Badr.
I'm gonna go Scar. Come on, man. Never
Threw that
forget.
away right off.
R.I.P.
Right off. I made sure to pick this picture specifically, so for anybody watching.
Yeah, we can all have
all right.
PTSD. All right, come on.
Last
Let's see
one.
if we can salvage this.
The role of Jafar was initially offered to.
Wow.
Oh.
Trey.
Tim Curry?
No. That's a good guess.
Oh my God. Shit. You brought up Dune, and I'm thinking.
Bob Hoskins. No, I'm kidding.
All right, I'm just gonna go for it. Christopher Walken. I don't know why. Christopher Walken.
Okay, hold on. Now I really want to. I'm trying to think of some classic Jafar lines read as Christopher Walken. Eric, you're in the lead, so you might as well. Aladdin.
Jasmine, we should be
Jasmine.
together. Just treat them.
Wait, did you
more like
probably
a-
pull that
that was
because of Balls of Fury?
Oh God.
That's crazy.
No, I pulled that because
What?
he brought up
Oh.
Dune, and Christopher Walken was just Christopher Walken and Dune too.
Eric, you want to give it a guess?
God, who was offered the role of Jafar?
Initially.
Tim Curry was a really good guess. I'm gonna skip on this one.
Yeah.
We're all in the negative. I gotta have some type of advantage here.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Wow.
Really? That
Yeah,
would have
would've
been pretty
killed it.
cool.
Yeah, that would really.
I don't know why Ian McKellen was coming in my head, so that was very close.
That
All
was
right,
a really
well,
fun game.
I don't know how this works with the final Jeopardy when everyone's in the negative.
This is the opposite
Does
of
it
how
let
it
you
went
put
last
down
time.
money to bet on your phone? What does it say?
We'll see.
I'm gonna put in. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, I've got negative.
Yeah, no, it
Let's see
says
if it'll
invalid wager.
Okay.
I think
my valid. Yeah.
Can you only put in 0?
No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put in 0.
Yeah, I could only put in 0.
Okay. Well, let's say you guys are betting the amount that would win you the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I literally just put in 1,700 to get me to 0. You know.
Okay.
I'd be happy being at
All
0.
right. Here we go.
All right.
Haunted Mansion 2023
How dare
was
you,
considered a
goddammit.
major box office bomb for Disney. How much was its estimated loss? I will award the points to the closest answer.
That was a bomb?
Wait, it says wait for the winner.
That surprised me too.
Yeah.
It says
It
wait
says-
for the winner. I can't even put in anything.
Oh, okay. Do you guys just want to
Okay.
give me a
Yeah,
number, and then we'll?
I'm gonna go.
Are we
3
prices
million.
writing this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3 million.
sure.
3 million.
Okay. Trey.
No, wait. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go 30 million.
Oh.
30 million. 30 million.
I was like, all
30
right.
million. 30 million. I realized it sounded like a huge loss. 30
Normally that
million.
strategy works at the end where they say
I
a
was-
dollar.
I have to be non-biased.
30
okay.
million.
Sure.
Sorry.
Trey.
Final answer.
That was the one that had DeVito and all them in it, correct? I'm going to
Yeah.
go with 187 million.
Okay.
That's
I'm
good.
going to say like a
Eric?
big one.
That's
good.
crazy. I would just say 125 mil.
Come on, Eric.
Come on.
I think Eric was by just a bit.
200
Oh no, just kidding. 200
million.
Did I win?
Wow.
Wow,
$200
Trey.
million.
Wow.
Yes. That was the year. Yes, that's how much I was in debt on this game.
So I either don't have a good comprehension of what is a major failure at the box office, or this movie just really fucking sucked.
Let's
really failed.
Me and Phil
Yeah,
both
that
saw
takes
it.
into account.
It wasn't that bad.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good movie. It takes into account not only as far as how much the movie costs, but also marketing, all those things as well.
200
so.
million. They could have
Bro.
made.
$200
They could have
million.
for 200 million. They could have made 5 new Winnie the Pooh movies. Yeah, they could have made 5 new Pooh movies.
Universe.
One
Callback.
episode or one episode of She-Hulk. Apparently.
Yeah, right.
I love it. Talk
That was
about
a really fun
comeback.
game.
All right.
Phil, kudos to you know what, Phil. I've got my little soundboard on. Kudos to you
Hey,
for putting that game together. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Eric, I think it continues to be a success, so will be a staple here for What Did I Miss?
Well, we might need
yep.
to figure out the leveling there because we all finished with like negative 1,000. So
Well, get the questions right. I don't know what to tell you. This was a lot of fun. Badr,
Heck yeah.
Trey, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode. Ran a little bit longer than we expected, so I appreciate your patience. But please, let our audience know. I mean, of course, you guys have been on the show before, but let our audience know what you guys are up to, where they can find all your projects. Badr, I'll throw it to you first. Please let everybody know what you're, what you have going on your end, where they can find all that work.
Yeah, I am still going. The Short Box podcast is still going very strong. So if you're into comic books or interested in hearing from some of the best artists and writers working in the industry and crafting these amazing stories and comic books, then check out the Short Box wherever you listen to your podcast. Give it a subscribe. And if you are a local Jacksonville, or if you're a local podcaster here in Jacksonville, check out the new JPU show that me and Blythe launched to help aspiring full-time podcasters. So yeah, check that out. Shortbox Podcast and the JPU show.
Nice.
Yeah, and we owe Badr and the JPU so much, Eric. So and even this friendship with Trey, we owe that to you guys as well.
Yeah,
so Trey,
JPU
what convention can we find you at next? And what else do you have going on as well?
So I'm still on the fence about it, but I'm most likely going to be at Heroes Con. We have a vendor booth up there. I don't know the vendor number yet, but catch us at Heroes Con under Cowabunga Comics. We're also going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con. There's a local Jacksonville one. But every Friday night and Saturday night, I stream on eBay Live and whatnot on the account Cowabunga Comics or Art of Kyle Willis. And if you want to follow me on any socials, even though I really don't ever post on anything, if you talk to me, I'll send you funny memes. But Train Ammo on everything. That's pretty much my handle on almost everything. But yeah, catch me out on some live streams on Friday night and Saturday nights. Kind of the same vibe to where we just talk about Wolverine could totally kick Batman's ass, and then try to sell you guys some really fun comics and then hook you up with some really interesting reads. So come check us out, man, and appreciate you guys for having me.
Absolutely, and we thank you for taking the time. This was a lot of fun, and obviously anytime we get to hang out is a blast. So we want to remind everybody that's listening to the podcast, you can find everything in the show notes of this episode. We'll make sure all Linktree links are there. When you click our Linktree link, you can find everything you need, social media, the most important ones to keep up with being Instagram, TikTok, as well as our growing Discord page. If you want to support the podcast, not only the Wait For It podcast, but also the Short Box, make sure to head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave 5-star reviews. It's the lifeblood of podcasting. It helps us out tremendously, and we would very much appreciate it. You can also share the content and tag us. Let us know that you're listening. Let us know that you are watching. Any of that goes such a long way, and it's very much appreciated. But if you find yourself wanting to support the show maybe a little bit extra and join a growing community, Eric will let you know how you can do that.
Yeah, you can take your support and go beyond financially by going directly to our Buzzsprout page, or you can take those funds and move them over to Patreon, where patrons like Stefan and Breyer are helping to support the show, and in return, getting behind the scenes and early access to episodes like this one. But if you don't want to go that route, can't go that route, that's okay. The likes, the comments, the shares, the engagement, we truly appreciate even just the listen. So if you've made it this far, we really thank you. And make sure to check out the work that our two guests are on. They are great content creators, great people. Check them out. With that being said, we have reached the end of the episode. My name is MrEricAlmighty. That is my co-host, Phil the Filipino. Thanks to Badr and Trey for joining us on this edition of What Did I Miss? And please don't forget, on the podcast, we release new episodes every Wednesday with bonus content on platforms like TikTok. And all you got to do is wait for it.
So, I heard you're looking for a go-to source for entertainment.
Wait for it.
Gaming?
Wait for it.
Anime?
Plus Ultra!
Mr. Eric Almighty and Phil the Filipino? Yeah, they've got you covered. And all you gotta do is wait for it. This is the Wait For It podcast.